Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Michelle and I tend to talk about MBTI, personality, and the like, and today we're going to bring personality into the realm of storytelling. And the story that we're going to talk about is one of my favorites, and there's many reasons why it's my favorite, but one of those is the way that the author deals with personality. Now, I don't know how intentional his use of personality is, however, the personality flaws of each of the characters, especially the main characters, has a huge play on their growth throughout the series. He will take their greatest weakness as a personality and he will force them to face it head on again and again until they change or until they die. And the consequences of this story are so incredibly high. Anything could kill anyone at any time, and that just makes it so much more gripping, because if they fail in their ability to make their personality stronger, people around them die. And it's an interesting metaphor for life and how if we refuse to change, it may mean our own lives or it might mean the lives of other people. But there's also times in the show where being themselves and standing up for what they need to be in that moment is also going to save lives. So there's these two sides of the coin that are constantly at play, and you can never know what's going to be the right answer. And I think Levi says it best. He says, you can't know. He never knows what's right. You just need to pick. And today we're gonna take Eren Jaeger and we're gonna break down his personality and the story around him and how it plays into his personality, so you guys can see both my typing process as well as a little bit of a character analysis. I'm gonna say this right now, I am not gonna be able to hold back from spoilers. I have seen all 3 seasons that are out, and so those inform my understanding of both his personality and how his personality has grown throughout the series. So, did I say it loud enough? Spoiler warning! Alright, let's go ahead and get into it. I think the way that we are introduced to Eren tells us a lot about who he is. So we are introduced to this young boy who is obsessed with the idea of being a scout and being able to go out beyond the wall and see the world and have freedom. That's our introduction to Eren. He is somebody who values freedom above almost anything else, and he's very stubborn about it, and he has this idealistic vision of what it means to be free. And that idealistic vision is immediately crashed when the Titans break through the wall. Once Eren watches his mom die, his entire view changes, and he now has a source to fight to get his freedom. He now knows that the only way humans will be free is if he kills all the Titans, because people will never leave the comfort of the gate and of the city if the Titans still exist. So he is able to focus all of his frustration, all of his desire to be free on a singular goal. And it stays that way for a little while. He goes to camp, he becomes a soldier, and this whole time he just feels like he is going to kill all the Titans, and he tries harder than anyone else. But despite trying harder and despite having the tenacity to actually do things and to try things and to force himself and to do it until he gets it right, he's still not the best, but he is one of the best. And I think that is when we first start to see one of Eren's greatest weaknesses. His greatest weakness is that he dives headfirst into things without thinking. He thinks that if he has his noble goal and if he has this thing that he really, really, really wants, then he can force himself into having it. Now, we've all done this a time or two. We've all tried to force something a little unnaturally because we really wanted it. Well, that is Eren. Eren is constantly trying to force something because he wants it. This strong willpower comes with, a little side effect, and you start to see that side effect more and more as we get to know Eren as a character, and we get to see him in these different situations with different people who disagree with him. And we start to find that he's very emotionally driven. When he has an emotional reaction to something and he sees something that he thinks is right or that he thinks is wrong, he immediately fights back on that. He does that to a fault, to where he can't stop himself from asserting himself and stepping in when things are wrong, despite his inability to back that up with skill. He just goes for things, and he's fueled by emotion. So when he is on, he is super powerful, and he can move a boulder bigger than my house. He has so much incredible power. He can become a Titan himself. And at the first time you see the Titan, he does a great job. However, he doesn't take the time to truly understand how things work. And because of that, he chokes at important moments because he hasn't taken the time to figure out how it works. What we end up seeing is that as he starts to learn how to use it, he starts being able to do more for the group. He starts being more valuable for the group. He starts to realize that if he wants to harness that power, he needs to take the time to understand the power that he has. And he needs to look for the information and do the work it takes to understand it. And Hanga comes in. She comes in and really tries to help him understand because, she's just driven by pure curiosity to understand. And she helps him start to learn more and more about how it works. But unfortunately, what he must do in order to understand how it works is mess up and to do it. And so his progress in learning how his power works is incredibly slow. But then at the last moment, the most vital moment that's going to mean the end of the fight and the end of the third season, it is his moment to shine. He must watch and have patience and do everything that's been hard for him this entire time. He must make the smart decision, be patient, wait, concede to his fate. This author has done a phenomenal job of using personality and the weaknesses within the personality to show how that personality can grow and what that struggle will look like. And he did a phenomenal job. Eren Jaeger is a great example of an ESFP. And now, why do I say he's an ESFP? Well, first, his greatest struggle and greatest driving motivating factor is freedom. And freedom is so important. The ability to do what he wants, when he wants it, go wherever he wants to go, see whatever he wants to see. That's his lead motivation and lead personality trait. And the other half of his lead personality trait is a strong power, a courageousness, a willfulness that most others don't see. And one of the words associated with extroverted sensing, which would be the lead cognitive function of an ESFP, is force. And if Eren has nothing else, he has force for days. He has so much force that it's a fault, and the author must make it to where he needs to learn how to rein in his force and to be patient and to make smart decisions. Next, he has his introverted feeling, which is those strong moral judgments about what's right and what's wrong and what he needs and what he wants and how to get after that. That makes him a highly emotionally volatile character in this world where everything is out of control and everything sucks. Like the world sucks. And every element is against him, and yet he pushes through every single element that comes his way. He has so much power and desire and drive. This makes it to where he doesn't want to learn how things work. It makes him want to make things work for him. He wants to force them to work because he doesn't want to have to do the work to take the time to figure it out. No, he wants to do something right now. He wants to take that emotion and turn it into an action. And extroverted thinking helps him find the best way in the moment to solve his problem. It's not his greatest strength, but he'd rather use the information than understand the information. And finally, his weakest cognitive function is his introverted intuition. This is being able to see where things are going. How is it going to play out, him going down this particular path? That is something he struggles with a lot. He does not have a lot of forethought, and that comes to bite him in the rear quite a bit. And one of the other interesting things is that this author is using the polar function to teach a lot about Eren. And now in cognitive typology, the polar function is the function that people have as their greatest weak point. So everyone has a weakness that they just really struggle with, and it's not natural for them to do it. It's not easy to do it. And more often than not, when it comes down to it, they're going to ignore this function in lieu of other functions. And so for Eren Jaeger, that is the introverted thinking. Introverted thinking is that cognitive function which helps you break down and understand the way things work. If you contrast Eren Jaeger to Hange is a great example of someone who uses introverted thinking. She is so intrinsically motivated by understanding how things work that she completely forgoes pretty much everything in order to pursue that knowledge and that understanding. Eren Jaeger, you have to force him to learn how it works, and even still, he's not going to fully get it, and even still, just because he knows doesn't mean he's going to be able to apply it, and that is polar introverted thinking, and that is one of the greatest struggles that he must fight through this entire series. And that is why I argue that Attack on Titan is a phenomenal show, especially if you're somebody who's into personality and wanting to see a story that forces characters to make up for the weaknesses in their personality, and what kind of work that actually takes and what that process would really look like, and put it in an extreme situation. This is only me typing Eren. I really want to type at least the main characters like Armin, Mikasa, and Levi, and I want to type most of the characters because I do find a lot of value in their character progression, and I think that it's very interesting to look at. But with all that being said, you disagree, I'm sure you do, so let me know why you disagree. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't have a good argument, you might as well not say that you disagree, because I just laid out a pretty strong argument. And if you're not going to give me an argument, then why even contradict? That's my spiel. If you like this video and you like my typing of Eren Jaeger, or you just like Attack on Titan, or you just like the sound of my voice, or, you know, you're just a nice person, thank you so much. Can you please just hit that little like button right there? Yes. Thank you. And if you want to support me in what I do have a Patreon. And if you want to hang out with me, do some writing stuff, I have a snug. We can workshop some characters of yours using MBTI. That would be fun. And if you're interested, we also have a Discord for Nerding Out, and you are more than welcome to join. And that will be linked down below as well. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching and listening to me go on about Eren Jaeger and one of my favorite animes of all time. And I hope you have a beautiful, amazing, fantastic day. Bye-bye.